Are you a busy business owner struggling to shed body fat and get in the best shape of your life? Well, imagine finally breaking free with the constant battle with your weight or body fat percentage, even with your packed schedule running the business. Well, stick with me and I'll show you the simplest way to kill body fat while running your business so that you can get in the best shape of your life, optimize your health and performance without disrupting your busy schedule. You can ignore this, but without these simple yet effective and pretty simple steps, if I'm being completely transparent, you might continue spinning your wheels and never seeing the results you want. So by the end of the video, you will understand how you can finally achieve your fat loss goals without sacrificing your business success. And this is work for business owners in all fields. All clients this has worked for, such as an IT consultancy business owner with over 100 employees, dropped 8 kg and gained energy and muscle. Obviously, he's someone who ran a big business and he was able to do this pretty easily. A web design agency owner as well who got in the best shape of his life while still growing his business and not spending hours in the gym or kitchen. He was actually someone who got his half marathon time down to below an hour and a half from over 2 hours in just a few months. I've also worked with a marketing agency owner with over 25 employees who struggled with sleep, which affected productivity and energy. And they managed to do this as well. If you're someone running a business, whether it's a small business or a large business with a lot of employees, as you can see here, this will work for you. I've worked with over 1,000 clients over the past 10 years, over 100 of them being busy business owners and entrepreneurs. If you want to get in the best shape of your life and drop body fat efficiently, it's pretty simple. If I'm being completely upfront, it really is pretty simple. So what is that? Well, you need to be in a calorie deficit through the most sustainable, efficient way possible, which fits into your day-to-day routine without being too restrictive. I'll say that again. Be in a calorie deficit through the most sustainable, efficient way possible, which fits in with your day-to-day routine without being too restrictive. The challenge, as you've probably found being a busy business owner, is doing this sustainably, consistently and habitually. The amount of times I have people inquire to work with me or just ask me a general question because they want a little bit of help, and they'll say they want to get in the best shape of their life, they want to drop some weight, drop some body fat around the middle area so they can see the abs, for example, and perform at a higher level day to day through optimizing their health and performance. And they say that they've tried this calorie deficit thing, they've tried different diets, they've tried spending hours in the gym, it hasn't been sustainable. They might have got some short-term results, but it has been totally at the detriment to running a business, their energy levels, their productivity in their personal and business life. And they're not able to synchronize the two in a cohesive, efficient manner. And the reasons for this are pretty simple. It isn't something which they can adhere to for the long term. We really need to break this down into something which you can do easily and efficiently while still growing the business. So here are 3 simple processes to help you do this. I'm going to delve into these 3 processes and then there's a little bonus tip at the end for you to do. Okay, so let's delve straight into it. Process 1 is optimize your nutrition with meal prep. So as a busy business owner, finding time to eat healthy can be a challenge. The key is to plan and prepare your meals in advance. So spend a couple of hours on the weekend to prep your meals for the week. This ensures you have nutritious portion control meals ready to go, preventing unhealthy snacking or last minute fast food runs. Or if you don't want to do this, simply use a meal prep service if you're short on time. The small investment can pay off big in terms of your health and productivity. So I had someone come to me, one of those clients I mentioned before who had a lot of employees. He said he wanted to lose some fat, he wanted to get in the best shape of his life, but he wanted to still have energy for growing the business and he wanted to optimize his sleep because his sleep wasn't great as well. He said that he had tried following restrictive diets, he tried intermittent fasting, he tried keto, he tried carnivore, and they weren't really working for him anymore. They got some short-term results, but they weren't long-lived. He wouldn't actually train in the morning when he was doing intermittent fasting. This is, obviously, he wouldn't eat in the morning, wouldn't eat at lunchtime, and then it got to like 2 o'clock and he'd have a big meal. And then it got to the evening and then he'd have another big meal. But because he was restricting himself so much from the morning, and then still not eating that much, and the actual meals he was eating, he left feeling burnt out. He was low on energy, and again, this, to be completely transparent, he did lose weight on this, but he wasn't getting any strength in the gym. He was starting to feel unmotivated, and it was affecting his business performance. He wasn't going into work each day when he had loads of really important tasks and clients to follow up with. He didn't have the energy to do so, and he was relying more on caffeine because he was completely deficient in his nutrients and his meal scheduling. So I said to him, right, let's strip this back. Why are you actually doing intermittent fasting? He said he found online that that was the most efficient way to drop fat. And I said, okay, so has it worked? And he said, well, yes, I have dropped a little bit of weight. I have dropped some fat. And I said to him, okay, do you see yourself doing this in a year's time, or 3 years' time, or 10 years' time? And he said, not a chance. There's no way I can do this optimally while getting into the best shape of my life, while running the business. One of them had to be compromised. This is his words. I said to him, okay, well, let's change it up. Because for some people, I'm not doubting intermittent fasting definitely works. But it works because it fits in with their routine. So I said to him, right, well, you're someone who's running the business day to day. Why don't we just link you up with a meal prep company I've actually teamed up with anyway? And then you don't need to think about spending hours in the kitchen. You don't need to take up the mental bandwidth in planning your next meal and what you need to eat. And I said to him, look, I can do this for you, but why don't we just outsource it to a meal prep company? I'll handle it with them. So you can just sit back, work on your business, and then you'll get these meals shipped out to you, to your house or your business. And then all you need to do is eat them. That's it. Apart from refrigerate them and keep them cool, but then all you need to do is eat them. We know where your calories are because it'll say on the meal prep boxes, and we know exactly what you're eating because we can choose the meals. So we know you enjoy them as well, and it's saving you a bunch of time. So I highly recommend, if you're someone who can afford it, obviously, if you run a business, I'm assuming that you're someone who has a little bit to invest within themselves to actually get the results they want, I'd highly recommend a meal prep service. Okay, so process 2 is incorporate short, high-intensity workouts. Long workout sessions can be unrealistic with a busy schedule. Instead, what I say to all my clients is focus on sessions which can be done in 30 to 40 minutes max, 3 times per week, either in the morning, before work, or during a lunch break. Personally, I always recommend getting it done before work and then it's done, but that is completely up to you. These workouts should be efficient and effective at burning fat. And when I say burning fat, there's something where it gets your heart rate up a little bit, which doesn't directly correlate to burning fat, but it's something where you can expend more calories. You want to have maximum efficiency in the shortest period of time. That is imperative. So I had one client come to me last year and he said he wanted to gain a little bit of muscle and drop a little bit of body fat. He was someone who ran a business with just a small team. He was that person who was running a web design agency, and he was someone who felt like he had to spend hours in the gym. He was spending 5 to 6 days a week in the gym, an hour and a half to sometimes 2-hour sessions, and he thought that's what he had to do. He read online that to gain a bit of muscle while dropping fat, to spend hours in the gym. The consequence and effect of this was that he felt run down, he was constantly sore, and he didn't really enjoy the sessions anymore, because by the end of the session, he was completely burnt out, and as I said, it left him feeling sore, unmotivated, and he got to work completely rinsed of energy because he'd spent all the energy in the gym. Now, obviously, you want to have intensity within the gym, but you've got to do it in a structured manner. So I said to him, right, why don't we half your gym sessions, 3 sessions per week, no more than 40 minutes, ideally 30 minutes if we can, full body sessions. So each day we're hitting all muscle groups. Obviously, we're not spending hours in the gym, so we're not going to be doing multiple sets and a lot of volume. But we're going to be hitting the full body, every single muscle, 3 times per week, half-an-hour sessions in and out of the gym. And what we found was that in just 3 months, he managed to actually gain more muscle, but more importantly, he wasn't compromised in terms of his energy levels, he wasn't feeling as sore, and he wasn't turning up to work to run the business feeling completely drained of energy. And we switched his normal, usual evening slots to early morning before work, and he knew it was done, and he could just focus on work all day. So process 2 is incorporate short, high-intensity workouts which work for you, ideally full body. 3 is manage stress and prioritize sleep. This is absolutely massive, I've realized, for all my clients, busy business owners and entrepreneurs who want to get in the best shape of life, optimize their health and performance. High stress levels and lack of sleep can sabotage your fat loss efforts by increasing cortisol levels, which promote fat storage due to feeling less satiated, in other words, feeling less full, meaning you are more likely to overconsume calories because you are not feeling full for very long due to having high stress, due to not optimizing your sleep. So you can probably see this chain reaction here. So you want to optimize your sleep routine using a simple 4 to 5 step system. So I've had many clients come to me saying that they are constantly putting all the effort and energy into running the business. It gets to the evening time, 8, 9, 10 p.m. and they're still answering emails. They're still thinking about work all the time and they just cannot switch off. And I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you might fall into that bracket as well. So I follow a simple 5-step system with all my clients to optimize their sleep. So the first one is have your last evening meal, your last calorie food consumption, at least 3 hours before bed. 2.5 at the absolute most, but ideally 3 hours before bed. The second one is no more bright lights, no more screens, 2 hours before bed. You want to try and down-regulate a little bit and you want to start to chill out. You don't want to be looking at bright screens and keeping yourself alert and awake. You've been doing it all day, so you don't need to be doing it close to bedtime. This is going to completely affect the quality of your sleep, but getting to sleep as well. And the third one is to read some type of fictional book. I say this all the time. This has completely changed my mindset. I never used to read fictional books. I wasn't really bothered. But then I found that when I was reading business books before bed, I was still switched on. It wasn't really making me feel any more tired because I'd read something, find it really valuable, and then I'd start thinking about how I could implement that. And then one time I was actually recommended by my brother to read a fictional book, and I loved it. But what I found is that it was completely taking my mind out of my day-to-day tasks and day-to-day running of the business and day-to-day life. And I was actually able to wind down a lot more and relax. So the third one is read some type of fictional book. Number 4 is keep the room as cool as possible. Especially here in the UK, we're recording this right at the end of June and it's been warm. As we know, there's no AC in the UK, but I try and do everything I can to make the room as cool as possible. If it's warm, it doesn't matter how good your routine has been, you will not get to sleep very easily because obviously you're sweating, your body doesn't have a chance to cool itself down. So number 4, keep the room as cool as possible. Number 5 is to set a strict bedtime. Every single day, ideally. This is going to get your body used to going to sleep at that time, so it's going to naturally start to wind down. So for me, I always say 10 p.m. is my absolute cutoff. Ideally more towards 9:30 to 9:45. 10 p.m. is strict cutoff. Because then I know I get up at around 5:45 each day. So I know that I'm getting my solid 8 hours. So those were the 5 simple steps I follow in regards to optimizing sleep with all my clients, and I do for myself as well. And highly recommend you do this. And the final point on this one is to track your sleep data. Get something like a Garmin, Fitbit, Apple Watch or Whoop strap, which is a little bit better in terms of the metrics it offers, to thoroughly analyze your data. The only problem with this is sometimes you can over-rely on it, but I'd highly recommend, if you haven't done it before, just to see how many hours of deep sleep you are actually getting, where your recovery stats are, so that you understand that when you are having days you're not feeling too energized and not feeling too on point with what you're supposed to be doing, you can actually see why and see whether the sleep is a main component as to why you aren't feeling on top of your game. Okay, so that is the 3 processes. To summarize, it was optimizing nutrition with meal prep. Process 2 was incorporate short, high-intensity workouts. Process 3 was manage stress and prioritize sleep with tracking data. Okay, so the bonus tip is, I'm assuming as a business owner, you want to look great, feel great, and perform at the highest level. I want you to take the body, health, and performance quiz linked in the description to discover the exact problem area you have, which is stopping you from achieving these goals. It'll only take you 2 or 3 minutes. It will ask you a few questions, and then it'll give you a thorough deep dive into your results and exactly what you should do.